Okay, so now we're kind of breaking it down. Super PACs are just like the behemoths of them. They're getting unlimited contributions from individuals, so there's no real regulation on how much they get, and then they're getting all this funding and they're pouring it into certain political groups. And then at the same time, you're saying, well, what would these corporations be contributing to? And you're like, one of the reasons they might want to do it is so they can fund both sides. Why don't you keep building on that?
So if you look, and I looked it up on the internet, there was an organization, it was like a .org that broke down the, like if you look up, Eugene, you can even look this up, like super PACs, like how much their donations are, like what side they fund. You can kind of, I don't know how you want to put that in Google search, but it'll show you, there's an organization that tracks, it's like a .org that tracks where super PACs throw their money, Democrat versus Republican. And if you looked at like the top, I think it was like top 20 super PACs, it'll actually be very interesting to kind of see how much they fund the both sides pretty equally. And you, like, for example, I remember seeing one that was like AT&T, and you would think maybe AT&T may lean a certain direction more. But if you looked at it, I think they funded it almost equally. It was like 50 point like something versus like 49 point something to get like 100%. But it was like they're almost funding each side exactly the same.
Why do you
this
think
was like 21 and 22? Well, it's like you're betting on the house. You know what I'm saying? The house never loses. If you fund both sides, no matter who wins, you're gonna come out on top. You know, because if the money is coming from certain organizations, and we've kind of touched on it before, it's not like for sure you're gonna do what that company wants to do, but you know that they fund you. You know they give you a little money. You know, that's not to say that necessarily sways any congressman. But, you know, they donated. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you had a GoFundMe, if you got injured, and there's someone you didn't really like, but you saw that they gave you $500 for your recovery, or if you were, like, whatever, like, you may still not like that person, but you'd be like, man, they gave me $500 when I needed it.
And I think that's, I guess, where I was getting at is like, okay, so that's why corporations, I think it's pretty simple. Like the first question is, why are corporations in the first place wanting to give political donations? And they, based on what you said, they'll fund both sides because they don't care, because they're trying to be the house and win either way and be in favor of whichever group is in party or in charge. That makes sense. But then I guess the next logical question is, why is that allowed?
Why is that allowed? I don't know. Very good question. Who stands to benefit?
Yeah. Okay. So we have corporations allowed to donate to politicians now. And we said they're doing that because they want to gain the favor of the politicians making the decisions. And now we're having politicians receive funding from corporations, which means the politicians are now able to win and get in power. And they have to, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, or at least keep in mind the fact that these corporations are benefiting them. So from what it sounds like, corporations making donations helps the politicians get in power they want to win, and then the politicians now are looking favorably on corporations. So the two people who come out ahead in this are corporations and politicians. So who stands to benefit? Corporations and politicians. Who do you think loses when these things are happening?
Constituents, potentially. I don't know. It's hard to say. You know what I am also interested in? How many people donate individually to political parties?
That's a good question. And aren't they capped? I know they're capped. I actually know that for a fact. You're capped as to the maximum donation you can give as an individual to a political candidate individually. Now, I know you can kind of circumvent it with the PACs and the super PACs like we were talking about, but individually, if I say politician A I want to contribute to, there are spending limits they put on you. So do corporations, and that's something I didn't actually look up and I wish I did. I guess if they're giving it to super PACs, that's not capped, but are corporations capped? Eugene, can you look that up?
What exactly?
Are corporations capped to the maximum contributions they can do? Or are they the same, treated as if they're individuals? Because here's the thing I was getting at, and I'm kind of thinking about this live stream, but it's like, Okay, so, and I even kind of was here, but I'm realizing it more. So this was allowed in 2010. We're saying corporations benefit because now they have influence over politicians, and politicians benefit because they're getting funding from corporations, which give them a higher probability of winning, so they owe the corporation. So those are the two winners in this situation. And you said the constituents are the losers, but it's like, if they're funding these dark money campaign committees, so the corporations aren't disclosing it. So at first we answered why they'd want to do it, but now they're doing it. But why are they hiding it? And it's negatively impacting the constituents potentially because you're actually contributing to a politician that your constituent may not agree with. These corporations have more power than an individual. So yeah, that's why they're losing. And what about employees? What if you don't agree with the way your corporation's
Yeah.
donating?
Well, you're just an employee.